There is a conversation happening all over the internet right now, and it is doing more harm than most men realize. Everywhere you look, men are diagnosing their exes with attachment styles. She is a dismissive avoidant. She is a fearful avoidant. You have watched 30 videos, learned all the terminology, and convinced yourself that you finally understand what happened. And that understanding feels good. It feels like closure. It feels like you have finally cracked the code. But here is the truth that no attachment-style TikTok video will ever tell you. Avoidance is not her personality. It is a strategy. A strategy that worked for her once, a long time ago, and she never stopped running it. The moment you understand what that strategy was actually protecting her from, every confusing thing she ever did, the hot and cold, the pulling away right when things got good, the I need space out of nowhere, stops being confusing. It starts making a brutal kind of sense. And that is where real understanding begins. Let us start with what is happening online right now. Attachment styles have taken over the dating advice space. Most men have diagnosed at least one ex as avoidant. The terminology is everywhere. Dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant, anxious preoccupied. You have watched the videos. You have got the vocabulary down. And you feel like you finally understand what happened in that relationship that left you confused and hurt. The problem with that, though, is that the label made you feel better, but it did not necessarily make you smarter. Because when you call her an avoidant, you have turned her into a category, a fixed thing, like she has blue eyes or she is tall. And now every behavior gets explained the same lazy way. Well, she is an avoidant. That is just what they do. That is not decoding her. That is filing her away. It is a way of making yourself feel better without actually understanding anything. Watch the difference. Saying she is avoidant tells you nothing about what to do. But saying she is running a protection strategy, now you can ask the real questions. Protection from what? When does she run it? What triggers it? What turns it off? That is the shift. Personality is what someone is. Strategy is what someone does. And strategies have a logic. They were built for a reason. They activate under specific conditions, which naturally means that they can also deactivate under specific conditions. And that changes everything about how you show up with a woman like this. So, what is avoidance really? Somewhere, usually way before you ever met her, she learned a rule. And the rule is this: needing someone is dangerous. Maybe she had a parent whose love came and went depending on their mood, so she learned to stop reaching out. Maybe she was the kid who had to be the strong one, the one who held it together while everyone else fell apart. Nobody ever asked how she was doing, so she stopped expecting anyone to. Maybe her first real relationship, she went all in, gave everything she had, got completely wrecked, and made a quiet vow. Never again does anyone get that much access. And the strategy worked. That is why she still uses it. When she was 8 years old and shut down instead of crying, she did not get hurt worse. When she pulled back from that guy who was losing interest, she left with her dignity instead of humiliating herself. Every time she chose distance, distance paid off. It kept her safe. It kept her functional. It might even be the reason she survived her childhood emotionally intact. So when she pulls away from you, she is not malfunctioning. She is doing the thing that has never failed her. The philosopher Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And when a man wastes his time being confused by a woman's strategy instead of understanding it, he is wasting the opportunity to actually connect with her. Here is a real example of what this looks like in practice. A man and a woman have an incredible weekend together. Best connection either of them has felt in years. She is laughing, she is open, she even says something vulnerable on Saturday night. Then Monday comes. One word replies. Tuesday, she is really busy this week. He is sitting there going, "What did I do wrong? Nothing." That is the point. The weekend went right, and right is exactly what her strategy is built to defend against. Closeness is the trigger, not conflict. Closeness. Her alarm system does not go off when things are bad. It actually goes off when things are good, because good is when she has something to lose. Understand this, and you understand the entire dynamic. A man will never be able to make sense of her behavior until he understands that she is not pulling away because of something he did. She is pulling away because of something she feels. She feels closeness, and closeness triggers fear. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that it is not what happens to us, but how we react to it that matters. When a woman pulls away, what has happened is that she has felt fear. How a man reacts to that determines everything that follows. Now, here is where men are probably getting it wrong. Almost every man does one of three things when faced with this pattern. Misread number 1. He takes it personally. She pulls away and he hears, "I am not attracted to you anymore." So what does he do? He escalates. More texts, more effort, bigger gestures. He tries to close the distance she just created. And to her nervous system, that reads as pursuit. Pursuit is equal to pressure, the exact danger her strategy exists to escape. He just confirmed the threat. And so what does she do? She pulls away further. And now he is in the anxious avoidant death spiral. The harder he chases, the faster she runs. And the faster she runs, the harder he chases. Misread number 2. He takes the label and weaponizes it. You have an avoidant attachment style. You should look into that. Men have said this, thinking they are being helpful. They have just told a woman whose deepest fear is being defective that she is defective. There is no faster way to prove to her that opening up to him was a mistake. Misread number 3, and this is the biggest one. He decides her actions mean she does not care, and here is the brutal irony. The distancing often means the exact opposite. She does not run the strategy on men who do not matter. The guy she is actually lukewarm about gets consistent, easy, breezy energy because he cannot hurt her. He is not close enough to trip the alarm. He is getting the hot and cold treatment because he got close enough to be dangerous. Her withdrawal is often the most backhanded compliment he will ever receive. Read her actions, not her words, but read them correctly. I need space from a woman who matters and who keeps coming back is not the same as I need space from a woman who is fading out. One is a strategy managing fear. The other is an exit. The difference is in the pattern. Does she return? Does she re-engage when the pressure drops? Is she still investing when she is calm? That is the data that matters. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we have power over our minds, not outside events. A man has power over how he interprets her behavior. He can choose to see it as a strategy rather than a rejection. So, what does a man do instead? First, let us talk about what he does not do. He does not chase. That has been covered. But he also does not play a fake aloof game, acting cold to out-avoid the avoidant. She has been running this strategy since childhood. He, on the other hand, picked up his strategy from a YouTube video last week. Guess who is going to win? She will. All he creates is two people performing distance at each other until it dies. What actually works is one thing. He becomes the guy her alarm system cannot find a reason to fire at. And that means 3 moves. The first move is to stop punishing the retreat. When she pulls back, his job is to be unbothered, genuinely, not performatively, not sulking, not fine, whatever, just steady. All good, I have got a full week too. Talk soon. Then he goes and lives his actual life. Here is why this is lethal to her strategy. The strategy predicts that closeness leads to pressure and punishment. When she retreats and nothing bad happens, no guilt trip, no interrogation, no punishment, then her prediction fails. And the strategy that stops predicting correctly starts to weaken. The second move is to let her come back without a toll booth. When she re-engages, and if she is invested, she will, he does not make her pay for the absence. No, oh, now you have time for me. No cold shoulder to teach her a lesson. Every toll he charges on re-entry teaches her that coming back is expensive, and avoidants respond to expensive by not coming back. Warm, normal, forward. That is what he needs to be. The third move is to keep his own center of gravity. This is the one that separates the men who can actually date a woman like this from the men who get destroyed by it. If his mood, his week, his self-worth ride on her text response time, he cannot do moves 1 and 2. He will do them for a while and then crack. The steadiness has to be real, which means his life has to be full enough that her distance does not leave a crater. This is not a tactic. It is a standard. The philosopher Zeno of Citium taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature. And it is human nature to seek connection, but it is also human nature to protect oneself from pain. A man who understands this does not punish her for protecting herself. He becomes someone she does not need to protect herself from. Now, the honest part. None of this will fix her. A man can be the safest, most grounded, most patient man alive, and she may still choose her strategy over the relationship. That is her right, and it is her work to do, not his. Steadiness creates the conditions where change is possible. It does not guarantee that she takes them. So he needs a line. Here is the line. Patience with the pattern, not patience with the direction. If over months the loops are getting shorter, she retreats less, comes back faster, opens up a little more each time, then the strategy is softening, and what he is building is real. But if the loops are identical or getting worse, if he is 8 months in, still getting the same Monday shutdown after a good weekend, he is not her partner. He is her proof that her strategy still works. And a man with self-respect does not volunteer for that job. Let this land. She is not broken. She is protected. The wall he keeps hitting was built long before he showed up, brick, by people who taught her that needing someone ends in pain. It is not about his worth. It was never about his worth. His job was never to tear the wall down. Chasing is throwing himself at it. Weaponizing the label is spray-painting insults on it. His job is to be the man standing calmly on the other side with a full life and a steady hand. The first person her alarm system has ever been wrong about. Some women will walk through, some will not. But either way, he will have been the kind of man who does not beg at walls. And that man wins no matter what she does. The philosopher Cleanthes, who succeeded Zeno as the head of the Stoic school, wrote that the fates guide the willing, but drag the unwilling. A man who is willing to understand her strategy rather than resent it is guided toward deeper connection. A man who is unwilling, who clings to anger and confusion, is dragged into frustration. If this decoded something for you, drop it in the comments. Those comments are read, and half of the videos come from what men share right down there. Subscribe if you actually want to understand women instead of just labeling them. If this video helped you in one way or another, please consider supporting the channel using the Super Thanks feature. Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep creating better content specially for you. Every contribution goes directly into improving the quality of these videos and bringing you more of the Stoic wisdom and psychological insights that you have come to expect. Thank you for being part of this journey. Stay grounded, stay present, and I will see you right here in the next one.